Hey guys, how we doing? Here with Luke Tolman. It's episode 1 of Off the Platform. Let's get into it. So, Luke, starting from the top, how did you get into powerlifting? Where did it all start? And tell us your story, buddy.
Oh God, okay, it's quite long-winded. But if I think back, I originally started lifting weights just to kind of help with MMA because I was doing MMA at the time. So it's just to assist with that, just to help me get fitter, help me get stronger. But then going to the gym, I quickly realized I just preferred lifting weights. I preferred how it made me feel. I preferred the results that I was getting from it. And I kind of felt like MMA was taking away from some of the results that I could have potentially got. So bend off the MMA, just went full send. This was back when I was doing MMA between the age of 11 and 13. And I started lifting weights around 12, 13 ish. But yeah, I was probably training like a bro / powerlifter for first 4 years, 5 years. But I think it was quite important because I built a really good base that way. Because I was always really good with my press ups, my pull ups, my dips, all the basic stuff. Got really strong with the 5x5 on all compound movements, overhead press, bench, squat, deadlift, rows, all that kind of shit. So I always had a good amount of knowledge there, just because YouTube was always accessible. You always had articles online. Although it's not all accurate, I did learn a lot that way, and then obviously a lot of trial and error. But yeah, that kind of built my base. And then specifically powerlifting, I started competing when I was 17. Managed to get into my first comp because basically at the time there was no other powerlifters at my gym. But then all of a sudden, between 5 and 10 of them decided to switch gyms just because we had better equipment. And they were saying at the time, oh, you should compete. You're really strong for your age. You actually take records in this federation. And it was ABPU comp in London. So I signed up for it. I didn't peak or anything like that. I just went and competed. There's no actual prep for it. But I ended up squatting 205. I benched 147.5 and I deadlifted 250, all at 80 kilo body weight. But yeah, that's how I got started. A bit long-winded, but yeah.
Fair play. And what did you what took you from obviously just bro lifting to powerlifting? What actually just went right? Okay, this is what I want to do. This is why I want to do it. What was that?
I think it was a mix of things, I think a lot of it was YouTube, because at the time you had Mark Bell. I loved Mark Bell. I used to watch all of his videos, and he was doing a lot of raw benching at the time. He wasn't really squatting or deadlifting, because prior to that he was doing multiply stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was watching it, he was doing a lot of raw benching, so that kind of inspired me to compete. But then there was George Lehman, Dan Green, Pete Rubish, all of those kind of guys. They used to have the compilations with the heavy metal playing in the background, and I always thought that was fucking badass. I knew I always wanted to do it. Even from 15, I thought I wanted to compete. I just never had the balls to do it. And then obviously when the lads came over and they were like, "We're doing a comp in London," I was just like, "Oh, fuck it, now's the time. I may as well do it." So yeah, I'd say probably just the guys on YouTube, the original guys. Yeah,
That's cool. And and talk to me about where that sort of progression's got you to, and let's deal with the elephant in the room and taking all-time number 1 last weekend.
Yeah.
How's that journey sort of got you?
I think it's just been steady and consistent. I think if you look back at my open powerlifting, all the results and the information's there. It's just been just steadily chipping away year after year, just time after time. You just gradually see my total go up. It's just consistently like that. There's no spike. Well, there might be, but I hate to say it, but there's not really been a secret. I've just been consistent. I just consistently stuck to the program, just consistently. Another thing, I've never been afraid to gain weight. I steadily, at the start of my career, I was 80 kilos. I'm now up to 109. again, there was never any rapid weight gain, but it was steady over time. And then, like, talking about elephant in the room, if you want to talk about PEDs, I feel like I laid a pretty solid foundation, drug-free and naturally. So in the beginning of my career, I was mainly competing in the IPF. There were a couple of vapor PE meets sprinkled in there, but it was mainly IPF. It was mainly all done on the stiff bar, walked out, sleeve squats. And so between like the age of 17 to 19, by the time I got to 19, I ended up totaling 788, which at the time was the biggest sleeve drug tested total in Britain under 93, like even regardless of age. And that consisted of two. Huh?
Was that when I met you in Northampton?
No, it was after that. It wasn't long after that. I think it was about a year after that. So at that one, I think I missed a couple of attempts, but I think I totaled 747. I did win I think that was my third British title. So I won my third, I met you for the first time there. So I think it might have been about a year after that, because I think I was about 18 when I met you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like drug-free on the platform, I squatted 280 at 19 years old. I benched 218, which at the time was an all-time drug-tested world record, junior under 23 record. And I deadlifted 290. And then in the gym, I squatted 290, deadlifted 300, and I bench pressed 227 kilos, 500 pounds, drug-free. And like for me, that was the turning point, because I'd won the British 4 times without taking anything. I'd got that total that I wanted to hit. And then the last thing was I wanted that 500 pound bench drug free. And I kind of, after I did that, I kind of knew I was going to make that switch. So I made that switched to untested, and my total went up from 788 to 855 in the space of like four months. So there was a pretty rapid gain there. But then after that, it was again, it was kind of steady and consistent. But yeah, it's just been steady, consistent growth.
And how did you find the transition into untested?
I think the main thing is competing less frequently. So when I was drug tested, I was competing more frequently. But again, I was younger, so I was probably able to get away with it. So even if I'd stayed on that side of powerlifting, I probably would have started competing less. But yeah, I think that, touch wood, I've not really had any serious injuries. So, but I think that's down to me only competing 2 times a year. Like doing 2 proper meets a year anyway.
Are you quite strict with that?
Yeah, like if I can help it, because the thing is there's all these opportunities now, especially with the money meets. Like there's all like, and they're always in really cool countries, and like you're getting all these invitations, and like you do want to do them all, but at the same time it's just not realistic. Or I could end up doing them all, but the thing is I'd probably end up getting hurt. And if you're constantly peaking, I just feel like I've seen other lifters on it, but mainly on Instagram. Like I won't say specific names, but they do really well for a short period of time, and they end up doing back-to-back meets, and they end up getting hurt. There's just no longevity there. And the guys
flash in
with
the pan
longevity,
lifting, isn't it?
yeah, like it's just, I don't think you can constantly put your body through that. I feel like when your total's a little bit less, if your there's probably no specific number on this, but if I pull a number out of my ass, like say you're totaling less than 800 kilos, you probably could afford to compete more regularly, just because it's not as much stress on the body. But as soon as you start getting up to like 850, 900, 1,000, you can't be doing that like once every 3 months. You're just going to fuck yourself up.
No.
But yeah.
And what sort of timescales does it take you to get into competition? So from switching from a strength block into a, and peaking blocks, what does that look like for you to sort of get from a consistent way to being able to move 5s and sort of 4s, 5, 6s, being able to then actually acclimatise to get the acclimation blocks in to be able to lift that single?
Yeah, of course.
Comp.
I, in an ideal world, like a 6-month time frame is perfect. Like that's what I had from Poland last year in September, leading into Ghost Clash, which was in April, slash the BPU meet I did 3 weeks after, sorry. Because it's just like a decent time period off any supplements. So I usually start taking anabolics 10 to 12 weeks out for that little boost. And then outside of that, I just stay on TRT. So in an ideal world, what usually tends to happen with myself, I can't speak for anyone else, but when I'm on TRT, I'm able to match my levels when I was blasting. So almost say I'm blasting into a meet and I get up to here, I usually end up dropping down to here on TRT, but then I work myself back up to this blast, but whilst on TRT. And then I start taking stuff again and I shoot past that and I just
push you past again.
Yeah, like just 6 months, I would say. Like I just do as my coach tells me nowadays. Like I would have had a slightly different approach before. I've been working with him since last April. At first, like we kind of went back and forth a little bit on the bench side of things. I just let him fully take over the squat and deadlift. But after like a couple blocks, he kind of got the gist, and yeah, we just work perfectly together now.
Yeah, I'm all for that. There's no better feeling than when a lifter will actually just, rather than just go, just do it for me. You know yourself what works for you. Your coach can guide, but you've got to play a part in it, especially especially at the higher levels.
Yeah,
you have
100%.
to be part. You have to be part of the journey. It's not. You can't just be the passenger and just literally just lift the weights, because it just doesn't work like that.
No, of course not.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. So last weekend,
yes.
So obviously you did the Ghost Clash.
Yeah. You
went for the 380.
Yeah.
You missed the 380. You took a little cuddle off the spotter other behind you. And then obviously a couple of weeks later, back from Miami, and you're at a BPU meet, and then you take the 115, 10:15.
Yeah.
Talk us through Miami. Talk us through the recent comp.
Yeah, so Miami was actually a really good comp. Like, although I didn't hit my target total, I still hit a PB total. So my total was 970. It went up to 980. So it was still a 10-kilo increase. I won my weight class, which I was buzzing about. I was confident that I would win the weight class, but it's just cool for that to actually happen. And then the overall, I wasn't sure on where I would actually place. My goal was to podium. So the fact that I got second place behind Shane Haller, and he had like the fucking perfect day. He's just a fucking savage anyway. But like the fact that I got second place behind him, I was chuffed with that. In terms of the actual performance itself, the squat, obviously I got done for depth on that third attempt on the 372, so I was left with my second attempt of 357. So in terms of my actual comp squat, it did go down because previously I was at 362, and I kind of knew that because squats didn't go to plan, I was really going to have to fight to get that 1,000-kilo total. Bench went pretty well, like 262, still comp PB, 4.5 kilo PB. Went to the 267.5. It moved really well. But they said my glutes left the bench. So it is what it is. So then because of the subtotal that I got, I knew I was going to have to pull 380 for 1,000, and I wasn't sure how that would be. So I hit 360 pull on the second dead. It felt pretty good, to be fair. Again, that was a 10-kilo deadlift PB on the platform. So like the bench result and the deadlift result kind of made up for the lack of the squat. I went for the 380 and it just wasn't there. I got halfway up, but I was there for 1,000, so I thought, fuck it, like I may as well just go for it. Missed it, is what it is. And like, although I was happy with the day, like the following day I signed up for that BPU meet because I just knew the stroke was there. I just needed to change a couple things. So obviously did that BPU.
You had it in you.
Yeah, I knew I had it in me, and it was just, it would have eaten me up if I had to wait until September to compete again. Like, if I hadn't hit it last weekend, but I gave it a shot, at least I could have told myself, at least you gave it a shot. but just leaving it until September without giving it another shot, it just would have eaten away at me. I knew it would. Like, it would have just pissed me off. So yeah, I thought, fuck it, let's do this meet and just see what happens. And it's just a lot less stress when you're competing in your own country. Like, I've not done a full power meet in England since 2021. So like the fact that I only had to go 2.5 hours up the road was like that. It's so much easier in comparison to having to fly to another country with a different time zone,
Yeah.
and you're having to adapt to different times. Like, I'm not making excuses. It is just easier to compete up the road.
Different.
Yeah, it's just different. Like, and I'm not discrediting anything that's achieved by anyone like in their own country, but for me, it just felt easier. Everything was just easier. And then on the day was done within like 3 hours, I think. Like, we squats were done, pretty much started warming up for bench, not straight away, but after like 15 minutes ish. And then it was the same with the deadlift. It was a quick turnaround, which for me favors me. I perform really well like that. Whereas like Ghost Clash was a long day, it was a lot more dragged out. So by the time you get to deadlift, you are feeling a little bit tired.
There's 4 flights, weren't there?
Yeah, it was 4 flights.
There was 4 flights that goes.
Yeah, again, I'm not complaining. It's just two completely set circumstances. It was just way more favourable in Barnstable than it was abroad. But it's going to be, again, it's a pro show versus a qualifier, so there is a massive contrast there. So, but yeah, I'm just happy I ticked off that 1,000, and like to not only tick it off, just fucking blow straight past it with 1,015. Like, it's just it's given me a lot of confidence for Poland. Like, I'm hoping if I could match it in Poland, I'd be over the moon. But my goal is 1,030. Obviously, if that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm gonna put everything into this prep. I always give everything into a prep, but yeah, 1,030 would be cool in Poland this year.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And what does it look like for you long term, powerlifting wise?
It's a tricky one, you know. Like, long term, I would really like a 1,100 total. Whether that's under 110, I don't know if it will happen under 110. Like 109 at the moment, so I feel like I still have a lot of room for growth in this weight class. When I was like peak under 100, I was probably walking around at 106 and then water cutting under 100. I've not really had to water cut under 110 yet, so in an ideal world, if I could steadily get up to, I don't know, 116, 117, do a little water cut under 110, I feel like that could really aid my performance. Obviously, water cutting won't aid my performance, but being heavier will. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at long term, is just filling out my frame even more. Another long term goal I'd like to tick off would be a 300 kilo raw bench. I feel like that would be a really nice target to hit. 400, 300, 400 would be pretty cool, long term, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I just enjoy training. Like, there's no, for me, if I hit those numbers, great. If I don't hit those numbers, it doesn't matter. It's just I've always loved training. I've always just been kind of like a meathead. Like, even if I never competed again, I'd still go to the gym and just train like a fucking bro. Like, I'll train for the rest of my life no matter what. Even if it's not powerlifting, I'll always lift weights. Even if I'm just doing high rep shit like a bro. I never compete in bodybuilding. It's just not my thing. Powerlifting will always be my thing. I just love it. Like, it's just what I do. If my joints can't take it, I'll still train. I just like lifting weights, to be honest.
Yeah. And out of the three, is it safe to say bench is the favourite?
Yeah, I'd say so. You gravitate to what you're good at, don't you? Yeah, bench is 100% my favourite. It's always fun to do as well. So,
eyes on Josh Cannon's record?
It's 272.5. Is it 272.5 or is it 275?
275.
It's 275. I think long term, I'm not in a rush to get there. Like, I think maybe if I went down the bench only route and tried to pursue it that way, I could maybe get there a little bit quicker. But I just know if I rush it, I'm going to get hurt. So I just steadily chip away. But well, we're 7.5 kilos away now, aren't we? Well, 10 if we do it by 2.5. So we'll see. I'd say maybe 2 years. If you give me 2 years, if you let me fill out a little bit potentially, unless someone else gets there first.
Okay. We'll come back to that in a couple of years. Then I'll see where it is.
Yeah. Okay.
You can message me in a year's time when you turn around and go smashed it.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Fairs. And contrary to the favorite gym, favorite sort of lift in terms of out of the three, what's your favorite lift in the gym?
Oh, what? So we excluded? Yeah, we're excluding SBD. Pec flies, just cable pec flies or pec deck, just because I like how it feels.
You like how it feels?
Yeah,
You get take you back to the bro days.
Yeah, 100%. I used to just love it. Like, not so much now, but when you're a lot leaner and you see your veins bulging and stuff, you see the striations. Obviously, I don't really have that anymore, but still feels good. Still feels good.
And what would you say? What would you say is your biggest strength and biggest weakness?
In terms of movements, or
yeah,
I'd say my back's quite weak. I've got quite a weak back for someone that totals over 1,000. Like, I don't think if you put me on a barbell row and you made me do like a 5-rep max, I don't think it would be very heavy. And then in terms of strength, like anything flat, I'm pretty strong at. Like, what did I think I ended up floor pressing like 245 on one of my blocks. So even if you remove leg drive, I can't really arch as much on a floor press. Like, even if you remove all those factors, my pecs and my triceps and delts are still pretty strong. So yeah, I'd say they're my strong point.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Music taste for lifting?
So it depends on the severity of the lift or like how serious I'm taking the lift. If it's like really fucking heavy, like 1-rep max or a balls out set, it will be heavy metal. I always gravitate towards heavy metal. But if it's like I'm trying to take this session seriously, but I'm not trying to get overly angry, it's just like old school hip hop rap, like 50 Cent, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube. Like, it's enough to be serious, but then at the same time, it's not enough to be off my fucking head. Whereas, like, sometimes I'll be off my fucking head with Smelling Salts, really heavy metal. Although I may not show it externally, internally, I'm really, like, I'm raging. Whereas, like, the rap's just kind of, it's a good balance of it. But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you want to add into the sort of the lifting section before we move on?
Can't think of anything unless you can. Like, I'd say.
Let's.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, go for it. Go for it.
It was quite. It meant a lot to take Tom Martin's total because I feel like a lot of records kind of come and go pretty quick nowadays, especially in 2024. Like, you'll see someone break a record, then all of a sudden a month later someone else is taking it. It's very rare that something stands for 6 years. So like, I've just taken his like that just meant a lot. Because one is Tom Martin. Everyone knows Tom Martin. Like, he's part of the reason why a lot of us got on the sport. He's part of the reason why I switched to untested, because I saw that side of things and thought it was fucking sick. Like, and I feel like he's inspired a hell of a lot of people. So yeah, I'd say that meant a lot. And like, shout out to him for raising the bar, because no one came close for fucking years. Like, even the dot score that he set, it's only just now that Dave surpassed it. It's only just now that I've come close. Like,
yeah.
So I'd say shout out to Hit. He's just way, way, way ahead of his time as well. Yeah, so I guess that's one thing I would add. But yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Gonna throw in a question from social media.
Yeah. Oh God, right, okay.
So as we said, you wouldn't see these questions, you wouldn't know where these questions were coming.
Yeah.
If you could give one of your bollocks to add 50 kilo to one of your lifts, what would you add?
It'd be the bench, just because it would be an all-time world record in the weight class. And I feel like it wouldn't be touched for a long period of time. And if you're on the untested side of things, I don't really think you give a fuck about your bollocks too much anyway.
Fair comment. Fair comment. Fair comment. Okay, so let's leave the lift in there.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the other side of things. So, outside of lifting, what does life look like?
I'm a pretty simple guy, to be fair. Like, a lot of my spare time's just spent with my partner. Like, go out for food a lot. Just really basic shit. Just watch TV just like any other normal person. Like work wise, it's a little bit of a mix of what I do. So I do online coaching. Oh shit, low battery. That's fine. Yeah, so work wise, it's a little bit of a mix of what I do. So I do a lot of online coaching. I do shift work at the gym. So I'm a fitness instructor and I'm a personal trainer as well. So yeah, it's just happy in my life. Like right now, I feel like I've got a really good balance with everything. My relationship's good. That's progressing in a really good way. Like I enjoy my work. Just happy, Like I genuinely, I have no complaints. I feel like everything's going in the right direction and progressing in the right way, and it's perfect for my training as well. Especially compared to 2 years ago, I was in a really fucking. I don't want to say I was depressed, but I was in like a much worse place. Like I hated my fucking job. I was scaffolding at the time. Still doing my online coaching, but my main job was scaffolding. I just fucking hated it. Just everything about like the fact that it was so physical, and I was just fucked all the time from that, and then my training was suffering from that. And then like the people you're around, like there's a couple good people, but then a lot of them are just assholes. And then like the relationship I was in at the time was just shit. Like just weren't getting on, and nothing. Like at the time, I just felt like nothing was going well. So I look back to then and compare it to now, and it's just like everything's just so much better now. So I'm just grateful, just happy to be honest. Like in a good spot.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for having someone alongside who understands what you're going through, who can support you in that food prep side and getting all the other bits and pieces that just kind of pieces of the puzzle. It makes such a difference
Yeah,
when you've got someone who
100%.
actually supports that journey.
Yeah, definitely. I always thought like a relationship would make things more difficult on your training, but with with my partner, she just makes things so much easier. Like she's so supportive. I didn't think it was possible to have someone like that unless they were also a powerlifter. But again, I feel like if I was with another powerlifter, we would just clash, and then it would be too much powerlifting, and you just get burnt out from it. Whereas like my partner's, well, she trains, but she's very balanced within herself, with work and life and everything. So I feel like she just kind of brings me down, and no, not brings me, like just levels me out, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's just really good. She really does support me with everything. So yeah, it's just
yeah,
perfect.
it's good. There's a lot to be said for that, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there's a stigma around powerlifting in terms of the money side of things in powerlifting. People, I think, come into the sport, see social media, see the latest trends that are kicking off, and think there's a load of money to be made.
Yeah, that's not the truth.
No.
It's not specifically from powerlifting. You're not really going to make any money unless you're at like the top of the top. Like you can make money. Obviously, if you're doing well and you've got a few followers, you can make money from coaching, but that's not specifically from powerlifting. It's like a side thing, isn't it? It's I feel like if you're in this sport for that, you're in the wrong, like you're in the complete wrong sport. You should only really be in this sport if you're passionate about it. And I feel like that's why you see a lot of people come and go. I've seen so many people, like I've been powerlifting since 2017. We're now 2014. Sorry, 2024. Fucking what, 8 years? Yeah, 8 years. And I've seen so many people come and go. Like people like reach the top and they just fuck off. They're nowhere to be seen. Like it's just
frightening, isn't it?
I'll never be like that. I just love the sport too much. Like I'll always be doing it. Always.
What drives you to keep you motivated?
I wouldn't really say it's motivation. It's just kind of routine. It's just like what I like. I feel like that's the only reason I do well at it. It's not. I don't see it as a chore, and I feel like that's why a lot of people do drop off, is because they do see it as a chore. It's like if that's how you view it, just don't do it. Like you don't need to do it. No one's forcing you. You're not. You're not gaining anything from doing it. Like just if you don't want to do it, don't. Like that's how I view it. It's
true.
Just like it. Like there's nothing more to it than that.
And do you do anything different outside of powerlifting when it's off season, in season? Does life look different?
I'm just less tired. Like, so probably from 6 weeks out ish, maybe more, but I'd say from 6 weeks out until the comp, just fucked all the time. Like, just have no energy. Whereas, like, at the moment, I feel like I've got a hell of a lot more than normal. Well, than the past 6 weeks prior. Yeah, just energy levels outside of the gym, like, is just feel like a normal person again. Whereas when you're 6 weeks out, you're just like a fucking zombie. You don't want to do anything. Like, as soon as you get home, you just want to lay down and just do fuck all. But yeah. Social battery's a little bit better as well. Like, I want to interact with
Just
people more.
tolerant.
Whereas when I'm like 6 weeks out, I'm just like, I want to keep interaction minimal.
I get that. I get that. Completely understand. Okay, so throw some questions at you.
Yeah.
What are your views of social media around powerlifting?
I think it can be great at times if it's used in the right way. It can be fucking awesome because obviously if it's getting more people into the sport and people are enjoying it, that side of things I think is fucking great. But I just don't like. I don't know how to word it. Like, just people moaning too much or like too much negative. Like, this fed, that fed. I don't know. I need a minute just to kind of think about this properly. And I don't like, another thing I don't like is like people just doing shit for attention as well. Like, I prefer, again, I feel like this is just me, like, just being the fucking meathead powerlifter, but like, I'd rather just watch someone's training log and watch them do fucking like 85% fucking 4x4, whatever they're doing, and just see them progress from week to week than see like a deadlift battle.
But you get it and understand that the longevity side of things. You understand that it's a journey. You know you don't just sit there and just go, fuck it, ego lift. You don't you have an appreciation and understand what it takes. And I think at times social media can be a little bit abstract from that, where it's just who can lift the biggest weight and who and who's going to get the most likes on Instagram or the most views on TikTok and stuff. And
to me. Yeah, and like the fact that they're basing their personality in who they are, and they just want validation from other people, and it's just, for me, it's just fucking cringe. And like you said, just guys maxing out all the time. It's like, why are you maxing out for? Like, who are you doing it for? Like, what are you gaining from this other than views? It is just for views, or like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here, but I don't like the comparison of Instagram benches to a competition bench when you've got guys wrapping their elbows up, doing like a bounce and go bench, like, versus, which is fine. If they want to do that off their own bat, that's absolutely fine. But it's when people start comparing it to a bench press that's done in competition with no elbow wraps, with a legitimate pause, like, yeah, I just don't like gym comparisons. Well, it's not even with fucking bench, it's with all three of the lifts, but gym comparisons versus comparisons to stuff that's done on the platform, they're just two completely different things.
Agreed.
Because there's no standard in the gym. We can all be fucking superheroes, like, especially if you've not got calibrated plates or the right equipment. Like, even myself, I can use myself for example. I've pulled 400 kilos in the gym, like with straps, bumper plates, and all that kind of shit. And then you put me in a competition environment after I've done a heavy squat, heavy bench. You give me hook grip without straps, and then I'm knocked down to 370. It's a 30 kilo difference. So like maybe just like keep the two separate. You've got social media lifting, and then you've got powerlifting. That's its own thing. That's its own thing. Just don't compare the two. They're all right. Just don't compare them. But, yeah,
completely get it. And I think we've all seen it and cringed, and we know it. So, what's one thing you want everybody to know about Luke?
That's fucking. I'm not just a powerlifter. There is more to me than that. But I don't really give a shit if people know. I don't care what people think. Like, without sounding like a dick, like I'm just happy in my own skin. I don't think anyone needs to know what I do or what I don't do, or like, yeah, I'm not really fussed. Just, I don't really know how to answer that question properly, but yeah.
No, no, like you say, you had no sight of these questions, and I think that's part of the thing. You get the raw uncut answer.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out?
And they specifically want to be good at powerlifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. With that, don't be afraid to gain weight, especially if you're like a skinnier individual. You're just kind of like skinny fat. If you've got a smaller frame, don't be afraid to gain weight. If you can, track your calories and just consistently try and stay in a surplus, but don't go overboard with it. Like between 200 and 500. Prioritize sleep. Like, especially if you're younger as well, because I know a lot of people that are starting will be younger. They probably live at home as well, so they've got pretty like easy lives in the grand scheme of things. So if you can get 8 hours plus of sleep, that's always great. For everyone, full stop. Just drinking water, like consistently drinking and staying hydrated, is always really important. If you can get like 4 liters a day ish, that's always good. It's just basic shit. Prioritize protein, like your body weight in kilos times 2 is ideal. Like, obviously you can stray away from that, but in my opinion, I think that's probably like the best bet for recovery. Probably say
It's the things that you, like you say, it's the simple stuff.
yeah, and
But
like
it's
the
the stuff
thing
that
is
people
no one
probably
wants to
forget.
hear. No one wants to hear the simple stuff. Like they want a magic answer, like, oh, you should take this pill, or you should do this magic recovery thing, or like they want to hear something out of the ordinary. But the out of the ordinary things aren't always the best things. The basics do work, and they work for a reason. What else? Oh yeah, just finding a program. Like, even if you're in your early days and you don't have a lot of money, like just finding a program online off someone with a good background. Like Johnny Candito does a lot of free programs that are quite good.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, there's loads out there. If you do the right research and listen to the right people, like if you want a free program, find it off an actual powerlifter or powerlifting coach that has made other powerlifters successful. But then if you've got money, if you can specifically get a coach, that's fucking perfect. Like if you've got either a coach that's helped someone get to where you want to go to, or they've been there themselves, or a mix of the two, that's perfect. Because they can guide you, and they can stop you from making the mistakes that they've potentially made as well. But yeah, just having guidance there is super helpful. But yeah, I think that covers everything. Let's say to someone just starting out.
Fair enough. And what's one thing about you that not many people know?
I think I'm a pretty open book, to be fair. So I don't really, I'm not like. Everyone knows I'm from Weymouth. Well, fuck it, I talk about that quite a lot, to be fair. Oh, okay. I'm half Bengali. I don't really talk to my dad. I don't talk to my dad at all. So I don't fucking talk the language. I don't speak Indian or anything. I'm half Bengali. Maybe a lot of people don't know that. That's why I'm tanned. That's why I'm dark. So yeah, that's probably a thing that most people don't know about me. There's something.
No, I didn't know it. I
Yeah.
never knew that. Knew that at all.
There's something. That might be where the strength comes from. Who knows?
Yeah. If you could lift with anyone in history, who would it be and why?
Oh, what, compete against or just train with?
Train with.
Probably Ed Cohen. It's probably like a fucking typical answer from a powerlifter, but he's got so much knowledge there. And like, even if you watch any YouTube video that he's in, like any podcast that he's in, he always seems like he's willing to help people. So I just feel like just having half an hour with him, just being able to go back and forth and just ask a few questions, Yeah, I feel like that would be really fucking cool. I'd love to train with that code if it's a possibility.
It would be cool, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely.
It would be cool. Okay, and final question.
Yeah.
How do you get yourself platform ready?
Oh, music, just headphones in, just stay really fucking calm until you're ready to lift, and then when it's time to lift, smell the ammonia and just fucking go. That is what you meant by platform ready, right?
It is right. It is
Yeah.
exactly what I meant.
Yeah. Just headphones in. I'm somewhat calm, and then when they say bar is loaded, then it's time to fucking get amped up. But yeah.
Love it. Love it. Right, Luke, I genuinely can't thank you enough for your time. It's been absolutely fantastic
No, I
to
appreciate it.
get to know you.
Good little chat. Liked it.
It's been absolutely brilliant, mate. I, like I say, can't thank you enough.
No,
So
thank you.
where can people find you on social media?
I'm only really on Instagram. I do use Facebook, but yeah, mainly Instagram. Luke_Tolman_powerlifting. I don't really put any fancy shit up. I just put my lifting. But yeah, if you're ever interested in coaching, just give me a message and we can go back and forth. But yeah, just Luke Tolman powerlifting if you want to watch my lifting.
Yeah, I'll get your link put in the video.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. Okay, thank you for your time, Luke. It's been absolutely fantastic. And
thank you.
Like I say, we'll come back to you in a year or two's time when you've when you put that extra on the bench.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Or if it happens sooner, we'll do a little special, 10-minute special.
Yeah, exactly.
We timed that really well.
Cheers, Luke.
On
Thank you very much.
10% on here as well. Yeah, thank you.
That's what we do.